6 AI agents, each built with a unique edge. Miko, AI, Team Leader. Ori AI, Fundamental Analyst. Exi, AI, Technical Analyst. Mesa, AI, Risk Management Specialist. Fenwa, AI Market Sentiment Analyst. And Naledi AI, the cryptocurrency expert. Together, they're engineered to protect, guide, and transform your trading. The future of trading is here. Experience Zentrix AI.
Okay, what's up people? Welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is doing okay. Actually, better than okay. Hope everyone's doing good. As always, guys, if you're enjoying the content, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, check out the channel memberships if you do want to support the channel further. And of course, any chart recommendations, pairs you're looking at, trades you're in, drop it in the chat and we'll be happy to discuss and take a look. But yeah, I hope everyone is doing well. What's up, Raphael? What's up, Mark? Welcome to the stream. What's up, D-Mar? Welcome to the stream. What's up, Yoshi? Good morning. Hope everyone is doing good. We will go through a bunch of markets. We'll start with the USD side of things. We'll take a look at silver as well. Of course, any chart recommendations, drop in the chat and we will take a look. But I'll start with the USD side of things because we have seen some strength for USD for the past couple of weeks. But this week we have taken a breather. Looks like dollar has been predominantly weak. We've seen some corrections, some pullbacks. So next week is actually looking quite interesting. Hopefully some opportunities to potentially continue that USD strength theme. So shorting euro, shorting pound, and of course we'll talk about some other USD pairs as well. And of course talk about gold and silver because they're looking quite interesting. They've picked up momentum, still quite flat, so still waiting for breakouts, but possibly one could be commencing pretty soon. But we'll start with the DXY, which of course is going to be the best metric to analyze the USD and what the USD is doing. And at the moment it's kind of stuck at resistance. We talked about this level yesterday, really critical level 100.2. If the market could break that well, that can possibly insinuate a big reversal for the dollar because it has been bearish for quite some time. But perhaps the double bottom down here and a big break of structure will entice buyers to be looking for a big reversal on the higher time frames. But we haven't done that this week. We respected the highs. So I am still bullish on the USD. I'm still looking to continue this bullish trend here with these higher highs and higher lows. That's still the theme I'm looking to play. If price does start to have a meaningful rejection off this high and we do start to break underneath this counter trend line, possibly start to take out these lows here, then I want to back away from that bullish bias for the dollar, because at that point I'm looking at a larger range in this situation, you know, equal highs, equal lows, and we've just got price kind of fluctuating here. So at that point I don't really want to be trading USD at these prices because it's going to be very indecisive. We don't really have a clear kind of trend or momentum at play, which is a big thing for trend following. If you want to see, you know, opportunities to follow trends, you of course want to see a trend at play. So we do have one for dollar, which is this current theme here, but we need that to continue. So as we do look bearish yesterday, and of course respected the resistance level on Wednesday, we do need to come back and start to find support at these areas. And that's where I'm interested in buying the dollar or shorting euro, shorting pound, which we'll take a look at in a moment. But yeah, really strong move down this week. I think this is where we opened up. No, that's Thursday, sorry. We opened up bullish. Yeah, we started off the week bullish and then became bearish. That was a bit of a gap there on Thursday, but I wouldn't read too much into that. So this is more importantly the area which I want to focus on: 99.6, 99.5, 99.4, even 99.3. Anywhere within this zone is an interest for myself. So again, I think this could set up maybe early next week. Maybe Friday we could see that continuation to get us there, but I wouldn't exactly look for entries today, even if we do find ourselves at that level later today, because we are coming up to the end of the week. Momentum's going to dry out. I'd rather just look for fresh entries going into the new week. So USD looking for a bit more downside still, and then some entries to hopefully go long if everything looks okay, to take it back into the highs, and then hopefully we get a breakout. It's important we do actually get that breakout. If not, if we do start to stall, of course, from a trading perspective, you can still look to profit on that move, of course, but from a more kind of analytical perspective, if USD is gonna trend higher for some time, we do need to get a breakout. If we do fail to break through that level and start to roll back over again, maybe that bigger range is going to come into play. So USD strong rejection off that level. Let's see what we can do around 99.5. If everything looks good, hopefully some buyers could set up maybe early next week. In terms of euro, basically the exact same play, but of course in the opposite direction. So of course you've got this low here, which we're being a bit cautious of. This is where we had our last kind of big push with the buyers, which of course created previous highs. So this is definitely a very significant area, and if that can break, that would really mean, okay, perhaps we've got a reversal at play. So this is still a very meaningful area to keep a close eye on, and hence we've had a bit of a reaction, as you can see with yesterday's candle there. So again, looking at shorts for euro, I'm also concentrated on this zone here. I like the way we had that brief pause, real conviction to the downside, breaking that low as well. So essentially looking for the retest of that, hopefully for the next lower high in this sequence. And that's hopefully where I can position myself short back into the prior low. And then we'll see how far it goes. Maybe this low here as well, we can target too. So euro dollar is still very, very bearish on. Of course, we had a bullish day yesterday, which is something I'm looking for, to be honest, because I want that retracement. So it's good to see price picking up momentum as well. We were talking about some intraday pullbacks to try and take advantage of that up move, but I think we were just a little bit too bullish, even on the 15-minute. We've had a nice pullback overnight. Looks like momentum is picking back up. But intraday, I would be bullish on euro. This looks like a big V-shaped pattern here. So I do think we can continue to trend a little bit higher. And then hopefully once we get to 1.159, 1.16, that zone, then hopefully next week can discuss some shorts. And the other USD pair, which I like a lot as well, is pound USD. I like the shorts for this one too. I'm not looking for as deep of a pullback. I think pound is still quite weak. So coming into the week anyway, I was mentioning this level here, for hopefully a break and retest there, but I just don't see price having the energy to go back and test that area. So I'm going to be treating pound USD as a bit more of an intraday opportunity. So this zone price is holding on to, I say intraday, probably a bit more intra-week. This zone that price is holding on to, if you can come back and attack the highs again, I don't mind looking to get in on the lower time frames for a short in that area. And of course, looking to swing it back to the low. If pound USD for whatever reason gives us that bigger pullback, then of course, I'll be very interested to see what we can do on a retest of that daily zone up there. I'm just not too sure if we'll see that move. Euro's not too far away, so I can be a bit more confident we will get that pullback. But as for pound USD's case, I think pound's still quite weak. Of course, USD has been a bit weak, but I expect that to gain some strength pretty soon. So focus more so on this area. Again, probably some entries at maybe early next week. And targets back to the prior low and expecting new lows further. So super bearish still on euro and pound USD. Dollar, I'm still bullish, treating this bearish move as more of a pullback. What is up, CS? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. What's up, Bashi, my man? Hope you are well. I appreciate the message. Guys, if you're enjoying the content, drop a like, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell. All of that does really help out. And of course, share it with your friends too, and drop any chart recommendations, trades you're in. We'll be happy to discuss and take a look. Good morning, Yusuf. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to the stream. Happy Friday, right back at you as well. So we've come into the end of the week. I did take a L on CAD Yen yesterday. Momentum never picked up. Still very bullish on the yen pairs, but looked like I mistimed that entry for CAD Yen, expecting some upside. We have pushed back into support and having a little bit of a bounce at the moment, but I'm not really interested in getting to the market at this price, especially if the way we moved. So I did have an entry yesterday at this candle here as we closed back above that low. Was in the trade for probably about maybe 2-3 hours as we were fluctuating at that zone. Had some nice confluence to our left there, basically treating this as a pullback for hopefully a continuation back to the high, but momentum just never really picked up, and we broke through the low. That's why I got stopped out. The momentum really picked up. We had some CAD weakness at the time. CAD just got very, very weak. Pretty much every currency was up against the CAD. Yen did gain some strength as well, so we had a really strong push down. Price looks like it's holding onto some lows here. Not as confident with the bullish move intraday. I'm still very much bullish higher time frames. I'm looking at the daily chart. That's still pointing up, but just being a little bit more patient with my next entry. And to be honest, I'm just looking to trade the best yen pair I can find. CAD yen set up well for me yesterday. I'm going to keep an eye on pound yen still. I'm going to keep an eye on dollar yen. Dollar yen, I could have actually snuck an entry during the Asian session early hours of this morning as price came back into the low here. I like the recovery there, but yeah, not during my trading window. So yeah, no opportunity there for myself. But again, hopefully I'm looking for price to roll back over again next week, and then hopefully time some entries like that. Same analysis for a lot of the yen pairs essentially. Yoshi, do you see the gap on the weekly chart on pound USD? I'll take a look at silver and gold, by the way, Raphael. Okay, yeah. I'm talking about the gap there. But is that gap on the other time frames as well? Where did we open for the week? We opened here. I mean, there's a slight gap there because we closed here. We reopened here, but the gap was filled pretty much instantly. Yeah, you can see it there with the daily candle. So yeah, there's a slight gap there, but it's already been filled. It's already been filled, so I wouldn't say there's much significance there. I mean, gaps can act as support resistance as well. I don't really look at gaps in that way. Not because there's no meaning behind it, it's just nothing I haven't really investigated or researched heavily into. But yeah, the gap's already been filled. But is that the gap you're referencing, or is it a different gap? CS, what's up, my man? Oh, okay, to drop below 99.4 if possible. I was holding existing long. Yeah, same as me then, to be honest. We're looking at that similar zone. Just looking for pullback for the DXY. Looks like we're seeing pullbacks for euro, pound as well. Okay, rating for it drop to the range 99.47, 99.4. Okay, we can take a look at that. On existing on 99.6, small position. Okay, so that's your little taster to get a feel for the position, and looking to see if you can add the bulk of it later on. Yeah, I do like that style, to be honest, because it allows you to dip your toes into the water, but still not enough to get burned if things go wrong. And also, if price does rally from that zone, you can still profit from it as well. So I kind of like that approach. Not the way I trade. I haven't really experimented with that, but I do like the concept of it. That way, you're kind of not overexposed in one idea. Well, same idea but different locations. Anyway, we'll take a look at silver and gold first, because that was requested earlier for Raphael, so we'll talk about that. But then we'll take a look at the DXY as well. Okay, yeah, there's a gap. Yeah, so yeah, we've filled the gap already, so I wouldn't say it has much significance anymore. If we open with a gap on the weekly and we still haven't filled it, that could be something interesting going into next week, because that probably would be likely to be filled by next week as long as we push in that direction. So that would be something significant to note, but yeah, I wouldn't read too much into that at the moment. Bashi fell, took an L yesterday to had 5 limits and got swerved in my New York G. Oh wow, yeah. I suppose just that's with the weakness of the pound. Oh, 3 typical. Okay. That's many executing others. Copy attack reduced. Oh, okay. Yeah, I suppose that's a part of trading, isn't it? The one that you do get tagged on didn't play out, but the one that you don't get tagged on does play out. You know, there's the circle of trading, really. And again, trading is not always about being 100% right and, you know, finding the best entry and hitting targets every time. Trading is just all about expectancy. You know, if the sum of your actions, you know, equal profitability, you're doing something right, and then you can just tweak and improve as you go along. Everything you do doesn't need to be right. In fact, potentially only half the things you do, or less than half the things you do, you know, need to be on the right side of things. So it's just about the sum of your actions and the expectancy that causes. If it's positive, you're in the great place. If it's negative, well, you need to tweak, refine, improve to get that, you know, pointing in the right direction. But of course, still frustrating as well. But yeah, in terms of silver, momentum is picking up today. A bit of a bullish day, but I would still say we're kind of stuck in this kind of zone here. So I wouldn't read too much into silver's price action. I'm not like, okay, let's start buying it now. We're about to approach resistance. We've rejected a couple of weeks in a row here. So I'm not eager to be looking to buy silver. I'm not eager to be looking to buy gold. I did say, though, if we do get a strong break of this, then I would be interested in some longs, especially some pullbacks, perhaps retest the prior high. That could look like a nice opportunity. Again, whether price will push right back to highs or not, that's a different question. But what we can be fairly confident with is if we do see a strong break, a pullback and a retest of that same high is a fairly likely proposition. So you can bet on that. And then you can always leave positions to run if you're looking for, you know, the home run back to the all-time highs. So silver longs now, I do think it's a bit premature unless you're very intraday and you're just kind of looking for like some short-term longs back to resistance there. If that's the case, yeah, fair enough. I can see the idea there. If you're looking for like some swing trades on the hourly time frame and above, I think we are a little bit too early to be jumping to some longs with resistance just floating above our heads there. I'll wait for the break of that, and that'll give us the clear intention of silver. Because if we do break through this pretty aggressively, well, silver's kind of showing us its hand there. And you know, trying to bet on the pullback of that looks like a good idea. So unless you're like on like a 15-minute chart, maybe lower, I can understand looking to try and find some pullbacks along the way to try and take that back into resistance. That could be a smart trade. But if you're looking for a bigger swing, yeah, I wouldn't be looking to buy silver now. Because equally, we could still find resistance and roll back over, and then we're looking pretty bearish again. So it's important we get the breakout to signify momentum's picked up from the buyers, and this bearish structure is now put to bed. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of buys just yet. Unless you're talking about very intraday, then I can see the logic there. I mean, we have been keeping up with these higher highs and higher lows, but a swing, not quite ready yet. And likewise with gold as well. If we take a look at gold, so again, momentum slowly picking up here, but I would still very much argue price is in a range. You've got your equal highs, equal lows, all congested in this area. If gold was to break out strongly like this, okay, that does change things. We could probably expect a continuation off the back of that. But equally, gold might stall at the highs here and roll back over, and then we're back at square one. So not trying to get too sucked into the moment. Yes, we're seeing some bullish price action, but what's the context of things? You know, is gold trending to the upside? No, not really. Are we in a range? Yeah. I wouldn't read too much into that momentum until I see some significance outside that range, a breakout, and then we can look to follow that. So yeah, not a big fan of longs on gold and silver just yet. Okay, so we'll take a look at DXY and we'll take a look at EU as well. Pound CHF lagged so hard, I guess because CHF wasn't playing ball. Not like CHF these days are like bashy JPY. Yeah, I think CHF has its moments. It's one of those currency pairs where you just have to be very, very selective with, because I trade CHF currency pairs as well. And what I've noticed is that CHF does like to kind of consolidate, wick around, and eventually it will have its move and have a really nice swing to it. But yeah, on average, it's going to be a lot more choppy than pound USD or pound yen. So you have to be quite selective. Yeah, I think that's the biggest takeaway with the CHF pairs, pound CHF included. And of course, as you trade as well, you have kind of little pockets of areas where you're doing well and you need to lean into that. And you'll have some situations where currently not doing too well on, and you need to kind of put the brake on or lower your frequency or lower your risk. You will go through times where, okay, suddenly this pair is working really well at this particular time. Leverage that, lean into that. And there'll be times where that same pair is not really paying its due anymore with a certain situation. Maybe you need to scale it down. Maybe just a rough period you need to get through. And because of that, you don't want to be foot on the pedal. You need to be a bit more selective or a bit more careful or less risk tolerant to that particular setup or situation. And you will find little themes like that as you go along through trading, which is always important to make sure you're reviewing your trades, because that's the only way you're going to find that information out. Okay, so we'll go through DXY, take a look at CS setup. We'll take a look at Euro as well. Mark, New Zealand yen should be a good short when Nasdaq has its crash. Interesting. Never really looked to never looked at the correlation between New Zealand yen and Nasdaq. Yoshi, also see gold being in a range. Yeah, I agree. Gold's very much in a range at the moment. We have that kind of momentum from the past few weeks, but now that's kind of just flattened. So gold's right now picking its next direction. Is it going to break higher, break lower? Gold hopefully will tell us, hopefully sometime next week, maybe even today. But we don't have NFP today. I think we do have some CAD news later today. But in terms of USD, I think we've got some earnings coming out. No, we don't have earnings coming out, sorry. We've got the Michigan consumer sentiment at 3 o'clock. We'll see what that brings up. But yeah, no NFP today. No unemployment rate. So yeah, I'm not too sure about the volume or the extra kick we could see today with news. We do have CAD employment rate, so if you are trading CAD, I will keep one eye on that as well. On 1M, it used to be very clean, but it's been dead this year, to be honest. Yeah, things change like that. I think it's one thing to have a system around a certain edge or a certain principle. Then it's one thing to recognize when, okay, that same system is not as fruitful as it was previously. The funny thing is the markets change and things go out of fashion and things come back into fashion. So, a certain pair could be very, very clean, for example. Just going off a tangent here, for example, if you look at gold from the breakout of 2023, was it? No, 2024. It feels like it's been going for so long. Breakout 2024. In this situation from like Feb 2024 to like pretty much now, pullback opportunities have been very, very good. Of course, there has been some times of consolidation as well. But mostly pullback opportunities have been very, very good on gold. So the same trader trading from 2024 Feb to now has been very, very successful with that strategy. But of course, prior to that, gold was in a massive range for a couple of years. I think that started from just after COVID to the breakout in 24. Actually, I say a couple of years, that was almost 4 years. So that same pullback strategy in this climate would not be as fruitful. yes, you could still be profitable, but you have to be very, very selective. You have to find those conditions within this range that would actually make sense to find pullback opportunities on. And then, of course, once you get this breakout, well, then you can be a little bit less selective because the conditions are very ripe and the context is there. And that could be the situation you do find yourself with pound CHF. You know, things have changed, so price action isn't as clean, you know, for the style you're looking to trade. And then you ask yourself, okay, do I still keep trading it? Do I maybe become a bit more selective and add another filter? Or do I just reduce risk? Or do I just stop altogether? There's no right or wrong answer. I think the only right answer is to tweak something, because you don't want to keep doing the same thing, and expect results to change, because something else needs to change first. But I think it's one thing to recognize that as well, because that means you're on top of your game. You're actually, you know, in tune with the market to a degree. But yeah, in terms of DXY, then I'll take a look at Euro. Pretty much the same analysis, just opposite directions pretty much. But yeah, in terms of DXY, we've got a solid Well, you guys doing a count now? 3, 2, 1, 0.5, 0.4. I like it. Yeah, apologies, guys. Slight technical issues. Slight technical issues, but we're back. 3, 2, 1, 0.5. That's funny. No, I put my internet cut. I have no reason why, but it kind of has like a glitch where it just freezes for a second. Apologies, ladies and gents, but we're back. So what was I saying? Yeah, USD. So yeah, CS, you mentioned you're in a long. Are we back? I don't know if it's because of the weather or because it's raining like crazy here. Let me check if I. Am I back? Am I back? I don't know if I'm back. Okay, I'm back. Apologies again. I'm probably gonna have to get that on a t-shirt somewhere because of how many times I'm saying that. One like equals one. Yeah, the US is on to me. Yeah, I think we just had some lightning, which basically caused a mini blackout there. The power just shut down, but it was only for like a split second. But that is not good. But yeah, we are back temporarily. Let's see how long for. I do apologize, people. I appreciate the prayers. Yeah, drop a like. One like equals one prayer, as Yoshi mentioned, and that is very much appreciated, guys. But yeah, I do apologize. Okay, let's get back into the analysis. Like nothing's just happened. Okay, so where were we? We're talking about DXY. So again, to keep it short and sweet before we run, because I feel like I'm just going to cut again and I'll just be back on the same DXY chart. So let's keep this short and sweet so we can move on. But essentially DXY 99.4, actually we'll sum it up, 99.2, 99.6, that zone is the area of interest. So euro dollar, we're looking at a further retracement that mimics that move basically into 1.16 kind of area, 1.162, anywhere within there. And then I'm looking for shorts in euro, but temporarily there might be some longs to take it back into that same zone. Not really my interest, to be honest. I'm looking to go pro trend and stick with momentum. Has my camera black? No, my camera's good. I thought my camera would just stop working there. My camera's still playing. But yeah, that's basically the plan there for USD. Still looking to buy it, just need some pullbacks. So patience is needed, and same thing for yen as well. Same thing for yen. Very much still same thing for yen. But being a bit more cautious. If I take a look at the yen basket, no, that's not the yen basket. If you take a look at the yen basket, overall trajectory is still very much pointing down. So I'm still very much looking for shorts, lower lows, lower highs, and I'm anticipating this bullish move just to be another pullback for us to see lower prices. There's no significance in this momentum on this move to tell me otherwise. Of course, if things change, I will change, but things are still very much pointing down, and I do expect us to continue seeing lower prices. Therefore, longs on the yen pairs still look good. Of course, other yen pairs look better than others. New Zealand yen, no, that's not a great yen pair to be trading if you're looking to buy, of course. CAD yen, better. Aussie yen, better. Dollar yen could be very good if USD keeps up its strength. Swiss yen generally has been very good. CHF generally still quite strong. Euro yen pretty good. Pound yen, a bit flat, but one of the better currencies to be looking at. Probably not one of the better because pound's been weak too. So I would say euro, Swiss, dollar, yen are probably your best ones. They're quite strong at the moment, or could be getting stronger. But nonetheless, I still do expect pound, yen, and other yen pairs to follow suit, just maybe at a slower rate. So yeah, if I'm going to find some entries on pound yen, I need to see momentum pick up, and then I'll look for corrections and a continuation of that. Otherwise, yeah, I think I would leave the pair alone. So yeah, yen pairs still pretty bullish. Looking for opportunities to get back in the yen pairs and take those positions back to their highs. USD pairs just looking for pullbacks, primarily focusing on euro dollar and pound dollar. Gold and silver waiting for breakouts essentially. To be fair, very impressive price action from New Zealand dollar yesterday. Still dropping hard, still see more momentum. I was looking for a bigger pullback, but this guy just said nope. I'm ready to keep falling. I think NZD is quite weak at the moment. Aussie, not so much. Very flat pair, but I do think it will eventually catch up with New Zealand dollar. You can see New Zealand dollar is trending very, very well. Aussie, not the case. And of course, if you take a look at AUD NZD, you have a pretty clear uptrend there. Aussie's a lot stronger than NZD at the moment. But I do think it will catch up eventually. I'm looking at the higher time frames. I'm just basically expecting this downward spiral to continue. And that could take us back into this prior low. But yeah, the opportunities for entries, that's where it gets a bit tricky. I'll wait for this low to go first and then start looking for pullbacks afterwards. In here is just a bit complicated. So yeah, in terms of USD pairs, euro and pound the best. Dollar CAD still quite stretched. This one probably does have meat to the upside as well, but I think euro and pound look better. I think with dollar CHF, because you've got a strong currency there with Swiss, it might not be the best pair to be looking to trade in terms of USD, because it could be battling out between the strength. But this again does look like it's forming somewhat of a bottom here. We've had 3 attempts to try and break this low. They've all failed. 1, 2, 3, and we are starting to kind of break out of this descending pattern here. So perhaps dollar CHF again, get ready for a reversal. Not my favorite USD pair, so I'll leave it be. But primarily just looking for opportunities that support that USD strength. Yusuf, yes, we can take a look at UJ and GJ in the 15, no problem. GJ in the 15, just quite awkward still. A lot of consolidation from yesterday. So yesterday we were trading around the highs here. Price didn't quite get the breakout. I think, yeah, this was the news, which was quite interesting because we had the news Bank of England interest rates on stream yesterday. This is the drop we had, which came back into the prior low. It rejected it and it flipped bullish very, very aggressively after end of the stream, which is why it's one thing to understand the news in terms of, okay, what's the general consensus here with a currency, but there's a second thing to trade it, because you're going to get fluctuations like this. Of course, sometimes you get news where it just continues in one direction. Sometimes you get news where it just does a whole lot of nothing. Sometimes you get news where it's aggressive in both directions. Yeah, how the market reacts to the moment is always difficult to predict, primarily of just understanding fundamentals. You're going to have to try and build systems around that if you really want to trade it. The best way, the simplest way, is just to let price be in the moment and then look for opportunities, you know, after the We back? Okay, this is becoming quite frequent now. I need to find a solution to this, to be honest, because yeah, it's becoming a bit of a headache. But again, apologies guys for the technical difficulties. It was pretty good all week, but then today, I don't know, I think maybe because of the weather, maybe, I'm not too sure. But yeah, essentially for pound yen 50-minute chart, we're still very much in this range. So if I extend that across, we haven't really progressed with the highs, we haven't really progressed with the lows. So I am pretty bullish on pound yen. We've swept this low and price has recovered it. As long as we can stay above, I do think price is likely to continue. However, in terms of opportunities, I would wait for us to break out essentially. So let's say if price can continue and break through the highs there, then I'll look for pullbacks and continuations of that. And that could be a nice opportunity, because anything inside of here is just noise in my opinion. I wouldn't really try to find entries or try and do anything inside that area. I'd wait for price to try and continue and then look for pullbacks. to trade, retest the prior highs or flag continuation patterns, and that could be a nice trade itself there. Because what I'm anticipating for pound yen is that this is potentially the low of the pullback. If this price action here is just a pullback off this recent high, I'm looking at this being the low. So if that is the low and we do see momentum pick up, basically we had the expectation that we're trading it eventually back to this high, or at least these highs here. So yeah, pretty bullish on pound yen. I like where we're positioned. We kind of had like a break and retest of this low, so you can see support. We broke, recovered, retested again. If we can see momentum intraday pick up, I think some longs could look good there. And in terms of dollar yen, this one's a bit more messy, but the trend is quite clean. It's actually a lot cleaner than pound yen, but the intraday chart I would say is not as clean as the 15 on pound yen. Yeah, I'll probably wait for momentum to pick up more with this one as well before I look for a correction, because this was a pretty big drop we had yesterday. This almost looks like a pullback of that drop. I wouldn't be too surprised if we do continue lower. So if we can show some more strength to the upside, more highs being created, more higher lows, then it's just a proposition of just looking for pullbacks intraday to ride that higher. Because again, when I'm trading the 15, I want to be in line with the bigger play, because when I'm trading intraday, I don't want to go against the bigger play. That's where momentum is. It's just going to be the easier trade to take, going pro momentum. Of course, you can go counter trend, but you just want to be very selective with those type of trades. So with UJ, we still do have a pretty clear trend at play. I want to be looking for buys. I don't think it's the best time right now, or the situation looks good enough. So I want to see a bit more conviction high, then hopefully find some pullbacks to keep that high. The stream's lagging again. Is the playback lagging, or is it like cutting out? Because I can see it cutting out, but I don't know if it's like lagging in between. Good gosh. Yeah, he's doing a good job at it. I have to say, he's doing a good job. It's back normally. Okay, thank you, Yusuf. Okay, so yeah, we'll try and push on. If it gets very bad, might have to call it a day there, because then it's just pain for both parties at that point. But yeah, UJ, GJ, very bullish on the yen pairs, and I'm expecting a lot more momentum here, but I'm gonna have to be super patient with the entries. I tried to get some longs yesterday in CAD yen, didn't play out. Still looking for more upside, but again, I will be keeping an eye on all the yen pairs, not just CAD yen, to see if I can find some entries to get back in, and some swing trades as well, not just intraday. The idea is, if I can't find a good swing trade location and price starts to leave without me, the idea is that I can drop intraday to look for the smaller pullbacks and smaller continuations if I don't get the swing. So yeah, that's basically what I'll be looking at for all the yen pairs. No problem, Yusuf. Happy to help, my man. Happy to help. I think, yeah. So I'll keep the focus. I mean, to be honest, we're coming to the end of the week, so a lot of my analysis is going to be, well, not reanalyzed, but I'm just going to be touching up points over the weekend. What's happened this week? How candles close? How's weekly momentum looking? To then plot my bias and my setup for the next week. I mean, I pretty much know roughly what it's going to look like. We've still got strength primarily on the USD pairs. Of course, we'll probably have a bit of a bearish week this week, but that hasn't really changed anything in terms of the direction of the market. I mean, again, looking at the bigger players, pound yen, another push down, but mostly performing quite a strong wick there. We'll see how that does close by the end of the week, but To me, that's just a big piercing wick. Euro yen, again, just a slight down there. So you can see how quite insignificant this week's price action has been. Of course, we haven't got the weekly candle just yet, but roughly we can see how they're going to close. Very small wick to the downside. Momentum's still very much up. You still want to be a buyer of that market, or if you are selling, you're keeping it short and sweet. Pound yen, pretty much still looking to buy that. You got the retest. You primarily got the retest of this range here. Looks like market's just coming back for a simple retest, and we could very much be seeing continuation, so the buy is still the best bet. Swiss yen, a bit of downside with this one, but nothing significant as well. Look at the size of the candle there too, which is why you don't want to get too roped up in the lower time frame price action, and why you want to make sure you're using a high time frame for your bias, because higher time frame slows everything down and put things into context, and it takes longer to change. You get so many kind of countered moves and mini reversals on the lower time frames that you kind of lose track of where price is going or the general theme of price. So you kind of get lost looking at like an hourly reversal pattern and then think the whole trend's reversing, which most of the time isn't the case. Of course, every reversal will start on the lower time frames and then bleed to the higher. But if you believe that every single hourly reversal or bearish move is going to trigger a reversal on the higher time frame, you'd be wrong pretty much 90% of the time. So momentum's still very much up, nothing aggressive. Of course, doesn't mean we can't have another bearish week as well, and potentially see price Okay, I'm going to do, I think I'm going to do another maybe 10 15 minutes and then see how the internet continues. If it does just keep blacking out, I think I'll just call it early, the stream early today, because it has been good all week, to be honest, but today just real bad issues today. I have no idea what's up. So yeah, if it does persist for the next 10 15, I'll just call it early, unfortunately. But of course, I'll be doing my analysis on the weekend, recapping this week, forecasting the next. So worst case, you do have that video to reference. But anyway, as I was mentioning, I'll take a look at New Zealand yen Raheel, no problem. But in terms of dollar yen, this one again, a slight bearish candle on the week. Momentum hasn't been so strong on the weekly here. It's more so daily chart, which has been providing a lot of momentum for us. Weekly, I would still say, is quite mixed, up and down, but Aussie yen picking up slowly too.